Welcome to Life in Calgary, Alberta. I'm your host, Patrick Murray, and today we're talking about 10 common seller mistakes to avoid so you can sell your home faster. But before we do that, if this is your first time to this channel and you'd like to know everything there is about what it's like to eat, sleep, breathe, live, and play in Calgary, Alberta, please just hit that subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified every single time I release a new video. Now, I've lived in several major centers in my adult life, but I settled in Calgary way back in 2001. And not only that, I've been a realtor here since 2010. And all this means I have some specialized knowledge about the city of Calgary and the surrounding bedroom communities. So if you're considering moving to Calgary or you're living in Calgary and you're considering selling your home, please feel free to reach out to me, send me a text, email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's talk about 10 common seller mistakes you can avoid so you can sell your home faster. So as I had already said, we're going to be talking about the 10 common seller mistakes you can avoid so you can sell your home faster and hopefully for more money. So without further ado, guys, let's dive in. So mistake number one can happen right out of the gates. And that's when a seller hires a realtor strictly because they say they can get them the highest sale price. Now, it's great if they can back that up with data. And keep in mind, data is really important in our industry. The market changes month to month. So it's important to have hard data to back up the sale price. Not only that, though, what is their marketing plan? If their marketing plan is to list your home at the highest sale price and then reduce the price, well, that's not really a marketing plan. So ask about the marketing plan, ask about how they negotiate, ask about the important questions, because there's a lot more than just pricing the home. Yes, pricing is important, but how are they going to carry the football to the goal line and get your home sold? Mistake number two, oftentimes when you're guessing at a sale price based on what perhaps your neighbor's house sold for. There's a couple problems with that. Number one, your home is unique to your neighbor's home. It's very different. And so perhaps your home is nicer. Perhaps your home has a few features that are better than your neighbor's, or vice versa. Also, time. When did your neighbor's home sell? That can also affect things. So it's important that you don't guess at the sale price. It's important to have a proper evaluation so you know exactly how much your home will sell for in the current market. Mistake number three has to do with pricing high just to see what happens, just to see if we get that offer. And that's a big mistake, and I'll tell you why. Many buyers are all over the market. They're looking, they're watching the data, they're watching the listings coming on. If your home is priced too high where it's listed, in the neighborhoods where it's listed, well, buyers are going to discount your property and you're not going to see it. So what if you reduce in 2 weeks? So what? That buyer has moved on. They were priced at X and now they've reduced. What's wrong with that home? And that's exactly what you don't want to portray to buyers. The most action oftentimes happens in the first 2 weeks. So price your home appropriately to get it sold for the most money possible. Mistake number four is letting emotional attachment affect pricing. I know you're seeing a bit of a trend here because we're talking a lot about pricing, but it's true. I get it. I mean, I'm the same with my home. I've lived in my home. I've made a lot of memories. I'm raising my kids here. I think my home has a lot of intrinsic value that people aren't going to understand. And that's key right there, that people don't understand, because buyers don't really care. Buyers want a home that will fit their needs. Buyers want a home specific to them, and buyers want a home that they can afford that's not overpriced. So it's important not to let your mindset, your emotional attachment, affect the pricing of your home. Mistake number five has to do with ignoring the importance of the first 2 weeks of the listing. Now, why is this important? Guys, understand that this is when buyers are looking, okay? Buyers are all over the market. And trust me, who's more informed about the market? Do you think it's a seller, or do you think it's a buyer that's been in a number of homes, looking at properties, and knows what the homes are worth in a particular neighborhood because they've been looking? It's the buyer 100%. That's right. So ignoring the activity in that first 2 weeks is a big mistake because that's when you want the action to happen. So if you're not getting any showings, if nobody's coming to your door, guess what? It could have to do with the pricing of your property. You might be priced too high. And yes, I've said it's important to price right from the beginning, but it's equally important to make sure that you make the appropriate moves and the appropriate adjustments at the appropriate times. And that has to do within the first 2 weeks. Now, let's say you are getting lots of showings. Great, but you're not getting any offers or the feedback is negative. Well, maybe it has to do with the presentation of the property. Is that affecting it? It's price, presentation, and marketing are the 3 pillars of selling a home. And if one of those is out of whack, well, there needs to be an adjustment. Something needs to be made up to make it more appealing to buyers. That first 2 weeks is absolutely crucial. Now, mistake number 6 has to do with ignoring that first quick offer. And I get it. You think you get an offer right away. Well, boy, if they offered already, somebody else might be right behind them willing to pay more money for my home. And that can be a mistake because you really need to talk with your realtor and examine what kind of a market are you in. Are you in a seller's market where perhaps there is a buyer right behind that one? Or are you in a buyer's market where there's a lot of homes for sale and a lot of choice? And if you ignore that offer, well, that buyer is going to move on. And you know what? That might be the best offer you're going to get. So don't ignore that first offer in the first 2 weeks. Take a hard look at it. Negotiate it out. There's an opportunity there. Somebody has put their hand up and said they're interested in your home. See what you can do with that offer and work with your realtor. Mistake number 7 has to do with getting offended by the lowball offer. I get it. And I've seen it. Even I sometimes get offended when I see low offers coming into my clients' homes because I personally invested. I like the people I work with and I want the very best for them. So yes, getting that low offer is frustrating, but sometimes you need to understand why you're getting that low offer. Perhaps that buyer is testing you. Hey, you have to take into cultural sensitivities. We don't all negotiate the same way from culture to culture. So depending on the offer, it could be, just taking your temperature, seeing where you're at. It's worth a shot, right? If you don't ask, you don't get. My recommendation is to always try to negotiate that lowball offer. So depending where it is, you might return a price close to where you're at, or you might, look at the market and say, yeah, okay, and come down a little bit more. This is something you need to discuss with your realtor, but it really is worth trying to counter and negotiate it because, like I said, they just might be taking your temperature. And after you counter, well, you know what? They might smarten up, come to the plate with a better offer, and you might get a great deal for selling your home and get the price that you want. Mistake number 8 has to do with hovering during showings. Now, I never recommend that sellers stay in the house during a showing because buyers just can't feel comfortable in your home. They can't envision themselves being in your home and living in your home when you're in the home. And just as bad is when you're parked out on the street watching them and trying to see who it is and that sort of thing. And I've represented buyers where we've come to view homes and the seller sitting in their car looking at us with a microscope. And I mean a microscope because it feels like you're being picked apart. Don't do that. That makes people uncomfortable, make them hurry through your home, and they won't offer on your home if they don't feel comfortable in it. So don't hover during showings. Trust your realtor. Let buyers get a feel for your property so that you can get an offer on your home faster and sell faster and for more money. Mistake number 9 has to do with selling your current home before being pre-qualified to buy another home. Now, some sellers say, well, gee, we know that we need to sell our home and then we'll get pre-qualified after so we can buy a home. No, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you have your ducks all lined up in a row. Lending criteria can change. The markets can change. You want to get a hold on a rate if you need a mortgage to buy your next property. So get pre-qualified before you sell your current home so that you're ready to hit the road running to get into your next home after you sell. And mistake number 10, and I think we've encapsulated mistake number 10 quite well with all the other points, is letting your emotions interfere with the sale of your home. So what I mean by that is, it's an emotional time. Selling is not for the faint of heart. There's a lot going on. You're concerned. Will it sell? Are we going to get our price? Are we going to get into a new home? I get it. There's a lot of pressure. You might have kids, boy, we're worried about our kids and their schooling, and are they going to get into the school that we want them to get into, and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of emotions going on, and not to worry. Repairs, negotiations, these are all things that are a part of the regular sale process. So if you're nervous, if you're concerned, please communicate that with your selling realtor. Communicate with them so that they can help put you at ease, and so that they can make sure they're listening, they're empathizing with you, and that they're putting their best foot forward to get your home sold for the most money and as quickly as possible, without leaving you in the dark and without leaving you feeling anxious, because we want you to be happy. Selling your home doesn't have to be stressful. Avoid these common mistakes, and this will help you to move forward, get your home sold more quickly and for more money than you would otherwise. As I said earlier, if you are considering a move to the city of Calgary, or you're considering selling your home in the city of Calgary, please feel free to reach out to me. Send me a text, email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you so you can live your life in Calgary, Alberta.